Hello, everyone, and welcome to Justaposition, the podcast where we explore mental health, vulnerability, and personal journeys featuring some creators you know and love. So make sure you subscribe to the Justaposition YouTube channel and stream the podcast episodes wherever you listen to your podcast. I am really stoked to have the person that is on today because I feel like we go back a while. We honestly have been chatting back and forth for so long, and it's been so cool to see your personal journey. Fredric Chen, everyone, give him a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fredric Chen. It sounds just like, oh my god, I can see myself in the screen. It sounds just like my YouTube intro now.
Yeah, thanks. I know I wanted to make this screen so that it's not like the pandemic split screen collab YouTube style video. I was like, oh, I want to feel like I'm sitting across from you, even though you're all the way in New York still, right?
Yeah, and you are all the way in Hawaii. It's like what? Is it 1 p.m. for you, or is it?
It's early? 10 a.m. I think.
10 a.m.
So, yeah.
Oh my god.
It's totally.
Oh, I forgot Hawaii. Yeah, I forgot. Oh my god.
I know.
In California.
Oh no, you're fine. People I think for some reason people think Hawaii's an hour behind California, but I'm like, no, we are smack dab in the middle of the fucking ocean, super far away. But I'm glad I'm able to have you on regardless that we are complete different parts of the country. I'm really stoked to just have you on the podcast because watching your content, you're so insightful about so many different things. And whether you're making really fun, entertaining, silly fashion videos, whatever it may be, all the different styles, or you're, providing some really deep, insightful thoughts about important issues that are relevant today. I was just like, oh my gosh, you would be the perfect person to have on the podcast to get into these deep discussions.
Yes, I love deep dive.
Yeah, but before we get into it, I want to do some rapid fire questions just so anyone who is listening or watching and might not be familiar with you is able to kind of learn a little bit more about you and some fun facts. So let's just jump into the rapid fire questions. First, explain what you do.
I am also a content creator. I started on YouTube 7 years ago. I mainly do comedic lifestyle. I just graduated, so it was a lot of college videos.
I didn't know that. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so used to you being at NYU. So that's awesome. Congrats.
I know. Yeah, I graduated from NYU. I wanted to get out a year early just because focus on content. That was my goal. And also, it's very expensive, especially in the U.S. So
yeah, and New York of all places, that is
yes,
pricey AF. Okay, awesome. So content creator for 7 years, graduated student. That's impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like fashion. I like thrifting.
Yes. And that's actually something I want to talk about later in the episode too, because your fashion is so freaking cool and I think super inspirational. But I'll save my questions about fashion afterwards. Next rapid fire question. What is the first thing you do when you wake up every morning?
I play with my cats. You might be able to see one. He has a ball up there. There's a little black blob in the background.
I
have 2 cats.
So cute. I hope he makes an appearance. I know we had an episode with, do you know Nicole Raffier?
I don't think I'm familiar.
Oh, okay, you have to check out her videos. She honestly kind of similar to your content. She's great, but literally in the middle of an episode, the cat strolled across her computer in front of the screen. It was so great. But it's so cute. Okay, play with your cats. That's awesome. That's a much more productive way. I usually start my morning by looking at my phone, which is not the most healthy thing. So I feel like I need some cats to get on your level. But next question, what's your biggest fear, would you say?
Honestly, I think it's being buried alive.
Holy shit, yeah.
And it's I have regular fears, but the biggest of all time, I think it's just that because I've seen a lot of horror movies as a kid. My sister showed them to me. I blame her every day for it, but there's it's a very specific fear, obviously.
Yeah, and warranted because when I've listened to true crime podcasts or stuff like that, and they talk about people being buried alive, that literally sounds like it's I'd just rather die in a quick, fast, easy, mess-free way. Yeah. Not being buried.
If an airplane crashes, that's fine.
Exactly.
I know what comes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't mind dying in a plane crash. Okay, so what would you say is your newest hobby that you've picked up, especially as a graduate student?
I've gotten back into collecting plants. I mean, I'm
cool.
I have a plant cabinet back there. I recently bought it, and I already have over 50 plants in my new apartment.
Yes,
so
honorary plant
it's getting concerned.
I love it. I love it. Honestly, especially there's something about like a New York apartment that has like plants all over and the red exposed brick in the middle of the industrial urban city. Like I feel like it's a vibe, and I definitely would be on your same level. Well, I kind of am on the same level. I'd say I have a bunch of plants, so I support.
Yeah.
I love.
Well, it's one thing to like have plants like in LA, of course, like you have sun all the time, but like it's even more impressive when you're in New York because half of the time you don't have a window.
Yeah.
Or it's facing a building, like.
Yeah, for real. So all the more impressive. Yeah, that takes a lot of work. So they're cute. They're beautiful. I love them, and I've seen them in your videos before, so they look great. Okay, last rapid fire question. What is your go-to coffee order?
I don't drink coffee. Can I say not coffee?
Really?
Oh,
no, it's fine. Okay, then what's your go-to drink? Non-alcoholic or alcoholic?
I will usually go for bubble tea, if not just like a fruit tea.
Yeah.
But if it has to be coffee, it's mocha, always.
Okay, wow. I'm just interested. Why don't you drink coffee? Does it like give you anxiety or like?
No, it works for me. Like I used to like use a French press, but then it turned into I don't like the effort, and also I've really gotten into like only drinking through straws because I don't want it to stain my teeth.
Yeah,
that's like a secret hack that people don't know about. And I'm just like I know coffee is like the biggest offender for stained teeth.
Yeah, so. It is. That's why I'm like I pretty religiously will drink like my iced coffee like through a straw and like try to minimize how much it gets on my teeth. But honestly, boba, that is a very fair and just competitor to coffee. Because as much as I am just like a coffee snob and lover, I'm equally as much of a boba addict. So I respect it. Okay. Thank you for answering the rapid fire questions. Like, I am really interested to first, like, get into your story because, like, I'm obviously familiar with your videos. You know, we've talked. I've been able to watch your videos. They're so awesome. And while a lot of your videos kind of, talk about other topics or where you're doing, like, other fun activities, you have kind of incrementally talked and shared your own personal journey and how it's especially relevant to like a lot of the videos where you're discussing, LGBTQIA plus related issues. So I'm interested to know, like, when I was reading your story, I was basically shocked to see that you started your YouTube channel. Was it like to support your family, to help your family out? That's what I was basically getting the gist of. And I was interested, like, what inspired you to like, start creating and why you wanted to do that. Because I find it, I just think it's really cool.
Well, I mean, obviously, like, I've always grown up with YouTube. Like, I was considered the person who only watched YouTube at school. For some reason, people didn't think it was necessarily, like, a cool thing. So I grew up with, like, Jenna Marbles, Ryan Higa, the OGs. And I specifically started YouTube in my freshman year of high school just because I found that I was moving from Charleston, South Carolina to Morristown, New Jersey. And I was like, I don't want, like, you're a teenager. You're just, like, turning 14 or something. And I was just like, I don't want to leave. I heard YouTube can make money. I'm going to make enough for us within, like, 3 months so that we don't have to sell the house. We don't have to, like, do a mortgage, whatever. And obviously that didn't work out.
That's so cute, though. I love that.
I think I got, like, 50 subscribers in that 3 months. But either way, like, that's what kickstarted it. And ever since then, it's, like, one video a week. Every now and then I skip a video, but
yeah, it's hard to be consistent. I mean, that's really cute. Honestly, I love that because like everyone has their own personal reason why they started creating content, and for a lot of people, it's usually like just a random hobby, just kind of picked it up for fun. But I love that you were just like, I have a mission. I need to make sure that we don't move, and especially in a 3-month timeline, that is a competitive and an impressive goal.
Yep. I had big goals as a kid.
You did. Hey, but it's paid off now, sort of thing. I mean, in the sense of like, I imagine YouTube has been really rewarding for you, given that you continue posting and you seem to have like a really cool connection and relationship with your subscribers.
100%. I would not do it if I wasn't enjoying it as much as I am. And I'm still finding like more ways to enjoy it today. If anything, like college was holding me back from being able to enjoy it as much because every time I wake up, I'm just like, I just wish I could just upload.
Yeah.
I just wish I could just not do school and just talk, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so freaking hard to balance school and content creation. I started creating videos when I was in college, and then kind of like stopped very quickly because I was just like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. This is a lot of work. It's hard to balance it out. But like, honestly, good for you for like continuing the college path and like sticking to your goal of graduating, because I mean, in the YouTube space specifically, you hear stories like left and right of like creators who drop out of college in order to, pursue YouTube. And it's hard to like stick to your guns and actually commit to graduating. Like, what was that like?
Well, like definitely like when I grew up with like YouTubers dropping out, I always thought like maybe I should. Mm-hmm. No way in hell my parents would let me. So that's why I just didn't bother. Mm-hmm. But like when we went online, it was like during COVID, it was like even another thing of like, should I just take a gap year? Like I'm paying the same amount, but just online at home. Mm-hmm. So I really wanted to push through just because it's like, I know it's the experience. I'm already like halfway through. I have my friends. And also I don't want to be someone who promotes like it's one thing to choose your own passion in life and stick with it. But it's another thing to like drop everything and then hope that works out and put all your eggs in one basket. And I don't want to be the person to promote dropping out of college because that's already a stereotype within the content creation community.
It is.
And it is okay to not even go to college. Like I'm not pro college to the point of like, go into debt. Like obviously your route is your route. I'm just pro education in general though. And like learning more in life. And I feel like college is a good way to do that. So I guess that's where I'll leave it.
Yeah.
And in terms of like balancing content, honestly, I lucked out with my major. It wasn't a lot of studying. It was more like do stuff with your like, not with your hands. We didn't build stuff, but it was like design stuff or like do projects mainly. So I still had time to do just, one video every week because I wasn't like a huge budget type of person. It was always like sit in my bedroom, talk about something, do something,
Yeah, and that's awesome. I love that you were talking about like pro education and having a plan, because I completely agree. I mean, I'm definitely not the most like unbiased, I guess, when it comes to the topic of like dropping out, because I am personally a college dropout, although I will say I dropped out before I started YouTube, so it was even worse than dropping out once you're already doing YouTube. But I completely agree. It's like education in life comes in so many different forms, whether you choose traditional education to go through college or whether you're finding it in other routes. Making sure you have a plan and executing it and having structure with whatever goals you're pursuing, I think is most important, regardless of whether that includes traditional education. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Even though I am a college dropout, and even though the college system does send me on a rant from time to time.
Oh yeah,
I'm also the person.
I will call it out too. Don't worry.
Yeah. There's so much bullshit going on within the system, but I'm also like, no, you need to have a plan. You need to stick to it, and you need to make sure that you are actually working to accomplish those goals and making it happen, which you have been. And it's super cool to see your growth, because I think I started watching your videos like, I honestly wonder, like, maybe even before you had like 100,000 subscribers. Like, it was a while ago, and you've like grown so much. It's so awesome.
Thank you. You too. I watched you like, I think around 100K.
Really? Oh shit,
yeah.
I did not realize it was that long ago. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, well, thank you for watching my videos as well. I know it was so cool that we got to connect. I also want to ask, like, kind of given your own personal journey, like on YouTube and the type of content you've created, you've shared a lot about your personal journey, about coming out, not only recognizing that yourself, but also coming out to your family, and how, your support system, your family initially wasn't completely understanding of it and wasn't, initially accepting. And this really resonated with me because I've shared my story online of how, I went through an experience where my parents were definitely not accepting at all. So my heart always, really hurts. And, I really always want to like support people who have gone through a similar experience. And I wanted to ask you, like, how did you manage to get through that, and what kept you strong, throughout that whole experience?
So it's a little bit of a story. Mm-hmm. So I came out the same time that we were moving.
Oh, okay.
it was just like I'm not gonna have any friends to keep up with, and my parents don't like me because like if people don't know, usually Chinese people, especially when they're immigrants, they come from a traditional Chinese culture where it's just like it's still seen as a mental illness there. I think it was considered not a mental illness until 2001, something like that. I don't keep up with China as much.
Oh man, yeah.
But basically, it's like I had all the odds against me. And to keep it short, you know, in the span of 3 years, we were able to like say sorry, like they said sorry to me, and we're closer than ever before. It's like I don't need people to think it's still bad. It's definitely not. But you know, the point was like it was a little inconvenient, so I literally escaped to YouTube, and I was always online. It was like I would lock myself in I didn't physically lock, but like I would stay in my room because it was the summer. I had nothing to do. You know, no job, no car, no school yet. So no friends. Why not just like go on YouTube the whole time? And that's where I was like, I found solace and I found my own community. And then since then I was like, I'm gonna make sure that no one feels that way and that they have someone to find online, because I still like to this day I'm like, I wish I could find someone who was gay and Asian that long ago.
Yeah.
As in like 7 years ago.
Yeah. And look at you, like you're doing that now. That's so cool because yeah, like I've always said this, people really underestimate the power of a story, and specifically for people in minorities and, you know, the queer community, it's being able to see representation of someone who has, you know, gone through your life experiences or is in a similar, you know, like family dynamic or communal dynamic to you, who's able to, you know, be authentic to themselves and share their story, makes such a huge impact. And, you know, the fact that you've been able to share your story, I think, is really impactful, you know, for any, you know, gay Asian Americans out there, or, you know, just really anyone who is within the queer community. I think there can be so much inspiration. I remember when I was kind of grappling with the idea of like coming out publicly, I, you know, remember having conversations with some people where they were like, Hyram, you know, you don't necessarily like need to come out publicly if you're feeling anxious about it. Cause I was like so scared. I was like, I know I want to do this, but I'm also like freaking out because it's such a public thing. And they're like, well, you know, you don't need to. This is something that you can just, you know, recognize yourself. And I think, you know, that's something I completely respect. But for me, I was like, what if in my hometown, on a cattle ranch, just like I was, in a conservative, closed-minded environment, who thinks that there's no one else out there like them? And what if my story can help? And it's the same thing with you. Being able to, you know, help in that way, I think is like so freaking awesome. And props to you. I'm really happy that, you know, your parents have come around and that your relationship is so close now, because that really gives me hope, not only, you know, just for the previous generation, but also just for how the world is shifting. Do you think, like, because you're always creating content about, you know, queer related news or social issues or things like that, like what is kind of your perspective on the way the world is going in terms of queer acceptance?
It's definitely more progressive. I think like it'd be stupid to say we haven't done anything within the past decade. I mean, obviously, like I was able to see like gay marriage be legalized, you know, and I was able to see like so many things. I found out like Stonewall is on my birthday as well, and I was like,
whoa,
oh my God,
that's cool.
So much about history. Yeah. So for those people, should research it. By the way, if
yes,
you don't know,
definitely learn about it.
And but like I think sometimes I get in my own bubble. A lot of us do, just because like you have all these algorithms that will only push you what you like. Obviously, even with news. So it's like, of course, you're going to think that within our community online, like, oh, everyone here is accepting. But then when one video just happens to fall onto like a different demographic, everyone is like, oh my, like all the comments are filled with it. And I've always been aware of that, of course. It's like, yes, I've lived that life, you know, I've seen it firsthand. But I feel like people tend to just not want to see those other sides, obviously, because it's upsetting. But we also have to be aware that's like, these people are still existing, and things aren't going to change if these people can't change as well, because that is how a cycle continues. It's just those beliefs are passed down and passed down and passed down.
Yes, exactly. I had Samantha Lux on, who's an amazing trans content creator on YouTube, for one of my previous episodes. And we were talking about kind of the danger in the way that algorithms work, particularly when it comes to, you know, queer rights and trans rights, and how by getting kind of isolated in a group that only thinks kind of similar to you, it can really, and not consuming, you know, what other people are thinking, other opinions, other perspectives, all that kind of stuff to really gain an understanding of people, how they're really thinking and how the world is, working. It can really make you believe that if you're in, say, groups similar to us, you're like, oh my gosh, like here in Hawaii, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like everyone's so accepting, everyone loves gay people, like the world has come so far, it's so great. But then I forget that like there's so many places across the US or across the world where, there's still so much progress to be made. There's, there's still severe human rights issues when it comes to, queer people, and that a lot of work needs to be done. So I'm glad you like touched on that, because I think one of the benefits, benefits and downsides being a content creator is that you really get a perspective of some of the most honest, brutal, real thoughts that people are having, completely unfiltered, and you really see a lot of good and a lot of like shit going on. How do you kind of like handle that? Exactly. Yeah.
Well, lately I've been turning it into content, because I've seen all types of beliefs. It's like, oh, don't look at it, oh my god, don't what's it called, like don't encourage it, don't even bother coming back to get a response, don't fight with them. And at this point I was like, I don't think being passive is good anymore, because I like, similar to what we talked about it coming out, I don't want to see a kid look at those comments and be like, oh my god, there's comments even on this channel, the gay dude's channel, like so I've been not aggressive, but like I just took all those comments into a little TikTok and then I just like made fun of them. I was literally just putting on makeup and I just put on a text, like, because all of them were just describing, the worst ways to describe anyone. And I would just, at the end, I just wrote a text. I was like, who's the successful one, though? And I feel like there's a way to combat, like, that negativity with positivity. Yeah. And obviously, like, I'm not encouraging fighting in the comments. There's no point. But, like, I'd rather make content that's easy and they give it to me, It's all there.
They are paying your bills, bruh. They are giving you the content, not only by just like commenting and engaging with your channel, but you're literally turning that into content to make a positive difference and profit off of. That is bad bitch energy. I love to see it. That's really brave though, honestly, because I understand that firsthand, where when you see a lot of negativity, you're just like, oh, like, don't interact with it, don't acknowledge it, pretend like it's not there, sort of thing, in a way to, not encourage that and not, draw attention to it, so that more people feel kind of entitled to be able to treat people negatively. But I think in your specific context, I think it actually does work for the better, because you're dealing with extreme, like prejudicial comments about, you being gay, and just lots of, horrible biases. So I think that's really cool. I think it's innovative. Keep doing it, because honestly that content is like it's super entertaining.
It's very fun for me, because I will literally just like put on makeup and then I'll be like, okay, let me cut it up and then let me find some comments and then smack them together. So like I'm not even thinking about the comments when I'm doing makeup anymore. It's just like, I need to do makeup.
Yeah, and you just turn it into that. That's so cool. Yeah, that's also another thing I wanted to talk about. Like, seeing how your personal style has evolved on your channel has been so freaking cool to see. It's been so fun, because when I first started watching really your videos, I mean, the way, the kind of introduction of makeup, your own personal style when it comes to fashion, the way that you were expressing yourself at that point in time was very different to how it is now. And I think it's like, I love seeing people adopt their own personal style, because it's like, I learn so, like, you just learn so much about the person by the way that they not only carry themselves, but the way that they kind of present themselves. So like, what kind of like inspired you to kind of really get into that evolution of your style?
I don't know, like, when I went onto YouTube, knowing who I am, but not, like, how I want to portray it still, and every year I look different. Like, you can see, like, my hairstyle changed every single time. I had blue hair, purple hair, I shaved it all off at some point, then it grew back, and this has been the one I've been most consistent on. Like, and I'm, like, hoping it stays that way, because I'm tired of changing it, but it's always been, like, trying to find an identity, and it's, like, I would look at what other people do. It's, like, oh, artsy people, they dress in primary colors. I'm gonna buy all of these. I like stripes at some point. And then eventually something just peaked, and I was like, I kind of just want to dress like an old lady. And I really want to. And then it just stuck. And, like, even with makeup, at first it was, like, I had that internalized homophobia. Where it was like, oh, I'm gay, but I don't do makeup like that. And then my friend like put me in a full face in like junior year, and I was like, oh my god, what have I been doing with my life?
Yes.
Since then, she has been the one getting the free PR, and she's like, yeah, I did that on purpose.
Oh my god, I love it. That's so great. Yeah, and your makeup like skills have like have gotten so good when I've watched some of your like recent videos. It's cool to see you doing them. Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it's always fun. Like I used to work as a makeup artist, so I think it's really cool seeing people go from their first time wearing makeup, not really knowing what you're doing, not knowing what any product means, and then learning your face shape, learning what features to kind of like highlight, and the experimentation with colors and all that kind of stuff. But so like that's so cool to see. But I mean I'm personally like I've become a fashion whore. I love fashion, even though in my personal fashion sense I'm still like stumbling and like just trying to figure out like what the fuck I'm doing. I love that you were saying you'd like to dress like an old lady, because like I haven't really thought of your style in that context, but like thinking back, I'm like, you love like the multicolored floral blouses, the floral print, the almost like I don't know, like 1980s-esque color palettes and things like that. It's so fun. And honestly, you're in the perfect place to do it. Like one of my favorite things about New York City is the fashion. Oh, if anyone who's listening or watching has never been to New York City, like I wish I could describe just the inspiration that you get just walking down the street and seeing people in just the most outrageous, amazing, innovative outfits. Would you say that like being in New York has really helped, your personal style evolve?
So yeah, in New York, the fashion is just like already like I go to a lot of thrift stores here personally to get my outfits, and even though they're more expensive than like what's in New Jersey, it's still so many, like you have like the old people who just like had so many things back then. Usually it's like 60s through 80s and they don't want it anymore, so they just all end up in these like resale stores. Or on Depop, which is where I go as well.
Yeah, I love, so like I always struggled with vintage for a while. I wanted to because of the sustainability aspect to like shop vintage, but I was like, oh, I don't, like I wish I had the time to just like go to Goodwill for like 2 hours a day and just like try and find stuff. But then I like discovered like consignment apps and like, thrifting apps, and oh my God, I think I like discovered them like 3 months ago, and the amount of clothes has months. Like, I know, because though I had discovered some before, but I couldn't find the brands that I knew like fit me really well on them. And then I found like a bunch more. And, with the amount of clothes I purchased, I'm like, Hyram, are you really being sustainable? But I found so much stuff from like the 90s, that I like wear on a day-to-day basis. And now I pretty much almost exclusively shop secondhand. It's so great. And I'm sure the stores in New York are like amazing. I need to go like vintage shopping.
They're getting way more expensive now. Like I'm not even gonna say which thrift stores because I know if I speak it into existence it happens. But like a lot of them that used to be like local thrift stores that have been here for ages, they go viral on TikTok and all of a sudden prices go up like this. So I've still been personally online just because lazy. Yeah, and same. It's just like I've found like my favorite pair of docs for $20 on Depop. So.
No way, that's so awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. And I know I've heard about that problem with like basically the gentrification of like thrift stores, and like how because it's become so popular, it's kind of just become inaccessible to people who actually like wanted to shop from them in the first place. But like that's like a whole different conversation. But it's really cool to see kind of your own personal fashion evolution, because I know for me and probably a lot of your followers, it definitely like seeing people like you finding that makes me be like, shit, well, like I want to up my game. I want to look better. Like I got to work on this.
That was me like watching TikTokers. I was like, oh no, this is nothing still.
Yeah, no, you look great. I think it's awesome. And it's super cool. I also wanted to ask that you have a podcast that it's called Top and Bottom, right?
Yes, it's called Top and Bottom.
Yes.
It's hard to say it still. Seriously, but
I love it. It's a very attention grabbing name, but like tell me like what inspired that podcast, and also I'm just genuinely curious like what inspired the name.
Okay, so my friend, the co-host, who is my best friend, we both graduated a year early in college. We had every major, every class together. One day in freshman year, we were like, we always talk so well. And this is like surrounded by 10 other people who are just like staring at us like, why are y'all talking? And we just said like, we should do a podcast one day. And then COVID hit and we were like, this is it. We're going to start figuring out the branding. Because we like took branding classes and it's like, okay, let's put our knowledge to use. So we figured out the logos. They're very outdated now. We need to update it. And basically like the name just came because, well, one of the co-hosts is a top, one is a bottom. Both are gay. So there you go. And I wanted something that's like, it's like, I wanted something that fit both of us because obviously like she wasn't like a YouTuber like me going into it. And I didn't want like my name slapped on it, obviously. I wanted it to be equally like both of us are in this together because we both go off of each other and we contribute equally. So that's why we wanted to go with that. And yeah, since then we just recorded last week because we're trying to go back into the groove because we have nothing else to do because we graduated.
Yes. I love it. I mean, it's super creative and like honestly, what better co-host than your best friend where you're already having engaging conversations. So anyone who's listening or watching, make sure you go listen to Top and Bottom Podcast. I will have it linked below. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I think it's super fun and in relation to that, because whether it's your podcast episodes or whether it's your videos, one thing I've always really respected about you, a heavy topic on this podcast is mental health. That's always been something that's like really important to me and I think needs to be talked about, and especially in the accelerating age of social media and, phone usage and everything being, via connectivity online, I think becoming more and more prevalent of an issue, struggling mental health. And I've always respected that you have been open and vulnerable about that on your channel, kind of talking about it in all aspects of life. Yeah, it's encouraging to see. And I wanted to ask, like, what has your personal journey with mental health been when it comes to relation to content creation and being online? I always like to ask creators because as a creator, I'm just like, bro, I'm struggling. What do you recommend? But also because I'm just genuinely interested.
I'm convinced no content creator is like fully sane in the they're not just. I'm convinced because everyone I've met is like we all undergo stress. I like to this day personally like it's like making content does make me happier, but I have this thing of like people pleasing, and it's like it's just because my parents like I want to get straight A's, I want to be a doctor, all of this stuff, and it's with myself because no one tells me to be successful. It's just like in my head now. I'm becoming like the ideals I hated. So basically, it's like I will always see a video and I will always like somehow bash it the moment it comes out. And then in a year, I start to appreciate it. So it's like the videos I've made last year, I'm like, oh my God, I love them. The video I just uploaded last week, I'm still like, Fredric, just like it. Like, literally put effort. It's a lot of imposter syndrome just because it's like, it's always about the numbers. But I've always been like open about it because I'm like, there's no point in hiding it. And I know if I speak it out, it's better just because it's like, I used to go to therapy. I don't right now. I should. But I know like talking it out with myself is one of the first steps. So it has helped just to be like out about it because I've been out since freshman year. I've been like the first video I think I said I'm gay and I was like, okay,
really?
It's only downhill from here, just write it all out.
Yes. Yes. Well, and I mean, that makes sense, especially in relation to you, first kind of utilizing YouTube as, an escape, a positive, like community environment that you could, escape to, and that being able to be kind of the way that you process those things as well is really cool. I mean, I love that you touched on people pleasing. This is so interesting because I was literally having a conversation with my therapist yesterday. I was just telling him, I'm just like, oh, I really struggle with people pleasing. pleasing. Like that's just like one of my biggest things that I like really want to work on, because of, similar to you, the environment I was raised in and the unhealthy, expectations that were instilled into my mental narrative from a really young age. And he kind of asked me to go back through like my journey online and kind of like talk about the moments where, I went against the grain. And when I was reflecting and like looking back and thinking about on those videos, like, for me personally, like maybe, I don't, it's like probably not a big deal to anyone, but the moments where, I was like, talking about products I didn't like and ingredients I didn't like, and, bashing them and just like being brutally honest. And looking back, I was like, oh shit, I actually like, kind of respect that, kind of respect myself and how against the grain I went. And it's the same thing with you, like looking back, when you were talking about looking back at your old videos and realizing at this point in time when you've been able to get over that initial imposter syndrome and, hyper analysis of, focusing on the things that you don't like, you're able to kind of appreciate that later on. And I'd honestly recommend anyone who's listening or watching, like if you are kind of like struggling with any of the things that we are talking about, like reflect on the past and what got you to the point where you are now, and take time to kind of like be proud of yourself. I think, for anyone, and definitely as a creator, that's really valuable, and it's definitely been helping you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like throughout life, like all of us, like usually you want to seek validation, whether it's through school or your parents, and it's like content creation. It's like you have to do it yourself. You shouldn't rely on your community or like your friends who are also content creators. Like be proud of the work you put out, because you're already doing a job that's like still new in the game. It's like no one knows where this is going to go. There's going to be 1,000 mental health studies on this one day, I feel like.
Oh yeah, there's going to be I feel like 30 years down the road, we're going to look back at the time now and just kind of be in horror at a lot of like
I know the answers that I know, like what the answers will be, like basically don't do it.
Yeah. I know I could totally see it too. I mean, looking like, but even with what you're talking about before with the videos you create where you take like the negative and the hate comments and you use that as content, like knowing that your personal struggle with people pleasing has been present, that's even like more impressive, because like damn, I feel like me with a people-pleasing tendency would be like, oh my gosh, just like push them away, ignore them. Let me figure out how to make my content even better so that people like it more.
Well, the problem is like I am so full of myself because I finally have reached confidence, and it's like when you reach confidence, nothing phases you anymore, especially when you're like, all this is very right. So those people with like blank profiles, like I don't want to please them. I'm literally trying not to please them. But it's mainly like my own community. It's like I want them to be happy and be entertained by my content. Those are the people I care about.
Good. That's so good that you're focusing on
single old men.
Single. I know, exactly. Your confidence, like that, literally, you can see it across the course of your channel. When I was prepping for this podcast, I was like going back through some of your older videos, and I was just like, damn, like you can literally like tangibly see the confidence exuding from you, in your videos as you've discovered that more and more. Like, what tips do you have for people who, may be struggling with confidence? I'm personally right now doing like a confidence series on my channel as a way to help myself and help other people hopefully find, more self-confidence. What would you recommend?
Besides like take time to yourself to be proud of yourself, because we rarely do it in life. There's this one little tip, and it always sounds stupid, but this is what my principal told me when I was very sad in high school. Tell yourself in the mirror, I love me some me, or just like I love myself, something positive that specifically refers to yourself or your face or something you're insecure about. Because if you can even say it, it doesn't matter if you don't believe it, just say it, because you're actively trying to do something. And it's like, I know people are like, oh, it sounds so cringe, it sounds so stupid, but tell me the same thing in 1 month how you feel, or in 3 months, and keep doing it. Like, I still do it to this day because it's just habit now. And when it's habit, it's like easier. Yeah.
I love that you touched on that, because literally I think one of the videos in my confidence series was literally doing just that, because I was that person who was just like, that's so self-absorbed to like say this in the mirror, like so cringe. I feel like sick to my stomach because it's so weird. But it does make such a big impact for like so many people by like actually saying it, actually saying out loud, looking at yourself while you're doing it. And also I think like in line with that too, what was really helpful for me is like the negative thoughts that you have about yourself or the things that you criticize or pick apart. Like just imagine you saying that to someone else and gain some perspective. Would you say those terrible things about someone else? Hopefully not. But like, so why would you say them about yourself,
Another thing, like when we're very insecure, I saw this TikToker. I forgot their name. I never remember their names, but basically she said, whenever you insult someone, besides like someone being bigoted, just say "just like me" at the end. Like, oh my god, they're so annoying, just like me. Oh my god, I hate their style, just like me. And you'll start to catch yourself projecting your own insecurities. And it's like, yeah, I definitely saw that back then. It's like you have to recognize that just because you're insecure doesn't mean you're incapable of also being a little bit of an ass.
Yeah, that is such a good point. I love that. Oh my gosh, like if you manage to find the video, send it to me because I would love to link it. Yes. That is so interesting because there is like a whole conversation to be had around the emotions of like disgust and annoyance and kind of those feelings of really like superiority at some levels are really just reflections of the things that we ourselves are not comfortable accepting and thereby judging other people for. Because if you were really content with that side of yourself, you just wouldn't even bother talking about what you don't like or what you don't prefer in another person, rather than saying it or acting on it or anything like that. That's so smart. I've never even thought to do that.
It's hard to do that, but
yeah.
Like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult, but even just mentally, it's like a mental practice. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, super cool. So telling yourself in the mirror every day that you're beautiful, or that I love me some me, all that kind of stuff. Would you say like your own personal like fashion journey and style journey has also helped improve your confidence as well?
Yeah, because it's finding your identity. Like, I know some people, they're like, I mean, if you watch Del War's Pod, it's like, oh, I don't care about fashion. But it's like, it's a projection of, like, what you can expect. Like, when you see this, you have an assumption of who I am, what I do, what I like. And this is also, like, how we express ourselves. Like, fashion it can be art. I mean, it's not always art. Like, this is not art. But, like, same thing with makeup. Like, it's not just trying to hide or be or, like, pretend to be someone. It's trying to be the best version of yourself and be able to present it physically. Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, it's, it's a tool. Things like makeup, things like fashion and styling, things like that, they're tools, and you can use them as a way to kind of like accentuate or highlight, kind of the positive, unique, individual elements of yourself, or you can use them to, hide yourself, conform, minimize yourself. You can really, however you use it is a reflection of your own, like personal self and personal identity, which is why I think it's inevitably like so powerful. And Devil Wears Prada, oh my god, I love that movie. And that monologue that she does is so true, because it's like it has so much power behind it, because it is a tool by which we can like communicate to each other without words, which is so powerful. Yeah, I love that movie. We're all consuming fashion no matter what. Unless you go about life naked, then
then you're not doing work. But thank you, I mean, for sharing that. I want to like wrap up this with like this like final question, which I normally start at the beginning of the podcast, but I'm gonna be 100% honest. I completely forgot to start with this question, but it's a question I have to ask every single person that comes on my podcast. What is the worst thing that you have done to your skin in the past, and how does it compare? What is the juxtaposition of that to your current skincare routine?
I am a person who has taken sugar and lemon and scrubbed it.
Really? You're one of those. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
And today, I'm someone who does retinol once a week and then recover.
Yes.
Only chemical exfoliants.
Yes, I love it. The barrier repair, the gentleness, the dead skin cell removal. I mean, you've actually highlighted skincare a lot across like your Instagram and YouTube channel. I think that's like how I first discovered you, actually.
Oh, sunscreen.
Oh, yes.
That's the last.
Thank you. Especially if you're doing retinol and exfoliation. Thank you. Yes. Do you have any like favorite obsessed products that you're like, oh my gosh, I have to use this product in my everyday routine?
Sunscreen. Oh wait, did you mean like a specific thing?
Yeah, like a specific product for the skincare addicts like me.
Honestly, like anything that, like, a lot of Crave Beauty,
yes,
a lot of K Beauty as well. Like if you need a sunscreen and you're just like you want affordable, you don't want it to like break you out, just like go for K Beauty. Yeah, I'm still trying to find like my all-time favorite things though. I'm always trying new things.
Yeah,
I always get bored. So.
But Crave Beauty is a great brand to go with. Like, I think this is like the 4th time that Crave Beauty has come up on the podcast from guests I've had on. I'm literally obsessed with that brand. It's so good. But that's awesome. I mean, you're covering all the bases. No longer sugar and lemon. Thank you so much for not doing that. But yeah, I mean, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. It's so great to have a conversation with you. And for anyone who's listening and watching, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Fredric Chen YT because Fredric Chen's taken. That's also Fredric.Chen on TikTok and just Fredric Chen on YouTube. 2 E's, 2 R's, no K.
Okay, awesome. And make sure you guys go listen to and subscribe to his podcast, Top and Bottom. I will have that linked down below in the description box for the video. If you guys haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the Justaposition YouTube channel and stream the episodes wherever you listen to your podcast. There are new episodes every single Thursday and amazing conversations that we have with so many different content creators. And if you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Justaposition YouTube channel and stream the episodes wherever you listen to your podcast. There are new episodes every Thursday, and we have some amazing conversations with content creators just like Fredric. And this has been a presentation of Cadence 13th and Odyssey Studio. New episodes out every Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.